So, what do you think about the outcome of the game tonight?
I'm a little bit disappointed. I don't think Jordan played the best game. I think if you tell me that she played the game strategically better and efficiently than Natalie, I think you're fooling yourself. She didn't have any plan in place. She kind of just waddled through to the finals. I mean, Natalie actually had a strategy. She was going to ride some of the stronger men. She was going to play on the emotions of the men. She was going to use some of the stronger females, gain their trust, and then eventually, I don't see how you can tell me that she didn't play a better game than Natalie.
Were you shocked when you found out she was 24?
I was shocked, but, it was a great lie, and how can you not accept what she did? I mean, yes, she lied, and she kept it through for however many days, and you still don't vote for her in the finals? If you're picking two people who played a better game, it is Natalie.
Do you have any hard feelings towards Jordan?
Absolutely not. I don't have any hard feelings towards Jordan, Shima, Jeff, or anyone. I played the game by coming in saying, listen, I want to be the villain. I want to come in and I want to stir up the pot, and I want to be able to manipulate people, intimidate them, and use fear to my advantage. People are scared of me, so I knew that going in. And did I overdo it? Yeah, that was the whole point of it. I'd be foolish not to use that to my advantage.
So, okay, what strategy then to kind of attack everybody?
Absolutely, because when someone's coming at you and they're yelling at you, you no longer think rationally. You start saying things that you shouldn't say. You start letting things slip, and that's what a lot of people did. And they're not used to having someone confront them face on like that, so that was part of the strategy.
Apart from yourself, who do you think the strongest player in the house was this year?
I think the strongest player in the house, besides myself, was Michelle.
Michelle? Why Michelle?
Michelle was one of the smartest ladies I've actually ever met. She played on people's emotions very well. She knew when to segregate herself from, people and the right times and who to talk to. I think she made a mistake by telling too much to people sometimes, and that hurt her ultimately. But I think she was one of the best players in here.
Were you planning to take Michelle to the final too?
I was.
Got there? Yeah?
I was planning to take Michelle to the final too. I knew that, we could work off each other, and if it came down to a final four, Michelle and myself versus Jeff and Jordan, it's pretty much a wrap. And I like our chances. We both stepped on toes. We both offended people, and we both played a similar game. She did it quietly. I did it more more loud. So
yeah.
I think it would have been a great finals.
Let's talk about you and Shima, because you guys got friendly at first, and then all of a sudden it erupted.
It did.
What happened?
I think she started to develop a lot of feelings for me. That becomes difficult in Big Brother, especially if it's not being reciprocated. Do I fault her for anything? No, I don't fault her for anything she said or did, and I don't harbor any ill feelings towards her. I think she let her emotions get the better of her, and it showed. It came out, and I'm sure it's it's a little bit hurtful when someone doesn't feel the same way you do, and that's all it was. It was nothing more than that, and she let it get too much. Was it strategy to befriend her at first? It was. I thought she was one of the smarter girls next to Michelle, so, it was part of my strategy to figure out who the smart females were and become really close with them. She was. She's a brilliant lady, and I wanted to get close with her. Unfortunately, I think she started to develop more than just friends. So what do you think about her expulsion from the house? It was difficult. I think a lot of people give so much to be here, and for her to just squander it like that, I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed. A lot of fans don't appreciate that, and I feel bad because this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and you never get to do this again, and it's a shame. Back in week 2 when Ronnie was HOH, you know what I'm going to ask. Were you two in an alliance, or were you kind of like playing both sides? What was going on there? No, I was playing both sides. I actually didn't think Ronnie was part of my alliance. I just wanted to play him so I could get by once he got, to the next week, and that was about it. I needed Ronnie to let me through. What was your strategy going into the house? My strategy going into the house was to align myself with the strongest person possible. I figured that weak people would weed themselves out, and I wanted to find someone who was as equally strong as myself. We'd both do the same amount of damage and ultimately get ourselves in the same amount of trouble and get to the finals. Which of the all the major fights that you had did you stand out most in your mind? Sorry, there's a hair on my Thanks. I definitely think the Technotronics stood out most. I think it was the first one. It was epic. People loved it. People were afraid, and I think that was the first sign that, we got someone who's a stick of dynamite in the house, and to let them know. When you first entered the house, who did you identify as a target right off the bat? Right off the bat, I knew Ronnie was. Ronnie's a really intelligent kid. Very smart and very quick on his feet. People don't give him enough credit. So I knew that Ronnie would be a threat, and that's why I ranked people who I thought were the best players. And when I had my chance, Ronnie had to go.
That's great. Thank you so much, Russell.
Thank you.